This is an anxious thought, and while I'm holding on to it, it causes me a lot of pain and distress, and the only thing stopping me from letting go of this pain is just taking the action to let it go. This video will break down what is anxiety, what causes it, and how you can win over it by just taking a few simple actions. Anxiety is a loss of control over your thoughts and the temporary inability to regain it. The thoughts in your head make you function, and the group of all the thoughts in your head is your mental existence. Think of your brain as a computer, with you being the super admin with the highest level of control there can be. All your thoughts are data points that come to the super admin to be processed. And the process the super admin has for this develops over time. If you look at a 3-year-old, you won't find them thinking a lot about some particular stuff. And as you grow up, the number of data points entering your brain increase in number, and the super admin over time develops a system to process all these data points. These thoughts or data points that are coming to the super admin to be processed don't appear standalone. They appear as part of a big chain of thoughts, and every thought that you have is just one block of this big chain of thoughts. And to understand how the super admin manages such a complex system, let's look at the type of thoughts. So there are majorly two types of thoughts that you can have: thoughts that lead to an action and thoughts that don't lead to an action. Thoughts that lead to an action might look like, I need to care about my physical health, so I need to go and exercise. Thoughts that don't lead to an action might look like, the weather is so nice today. So these thoughts that don't require an action, they might be termed as unproductive thoughts because they don't make you go and execute something in your physical environment. And it's important to have these thoughts. But your anxiety usually stems from thoughts that require action. You don't straight away become anxious. You first start to get stressed and worried about something in your life. And if you look deep into it, you will realize that it was some thought that requires some action and you failed to take it. This action requiring thought that you did not take any action over is part of a bigger chain of thoughts, and because you are already stressed, you get more and more worried about the next blocks of thoughts in this chain. When a large number of action requiring thoughts are not acted upon, these to-do actions start piling up in your brain, which causes you more stress and worry, and this more stress and worry in turn causes you to not act upon more action requiring thoughts. This causes your super admin to be in a backlog, which causes it to lose the balance of the system it had created to process the thought data points. This loss of balance puts your super admin in a difficult position because there is a lot more to manage and there is a lot more that is not being managed. Because the super admin is now unable to manage the thought data points properly, it eventually loses the control over the thoughts. And because there is such a big backlog, the super admin is unable to regain control of the thoughts and the system to process them. Why do we fail to take action over these action requiring thoughts? Let's bring in a measure called resistance to action for a thought. All these different thought blocks in a thought chain have a resistance associated to them. This resistance is the unlikeliness of you acting upon a thought, and resistance to action of a thought subconsciously determines whether you are going to act upon it or not. The resistance to action of a thought is high when it is a hard action to do, or you lack the necessary skills to execute it, or for some reason you are telling yourself that you can't do it. The resistance is low when the action is easy or very small, you are committed and passionate about it, or the action doesn't require you to take physical steps. This super admin in your brain desires a certain state, which is essentially its goal, and for that it processes a large number of data points many of which are action requiring, and because the resistance to action of these thoughts is very high, you are unable to take action and the desirable state for super admin is not achieved. This means that the backlog of actions in your brain is now piling up and the super admin is not really happy about this situation. This causes super admin to become more and more stressed about the current situation and the inability to achieve the desired state. But for the anxiety that has been caused by the thought data points, what can you do? The solution is very simple. All you need to do is to lower the resistance to action of thoughts, and to achieve that, you need to do two things. First, start prioritizing action requiring thoughts over non-action requiring thoughts. This means that the super admin is now giving more processing power to action requiring thoughts. Now with these action requiring thoughts, how do you actually take action? You just do it. But the resistance to action of these thoughts is very high. Then how are you supposed to actually do it? So for example, you want to be fit, and to do that, you have to exercise regularly. But because this process involves a lot of physical pain and a lot of commitment, the resistance to action of this thought is really high. To reduce the resistance, you need to take the first step and do the workout on the first day. Now on the second day, you again push yourself to just be there for the workout. And then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, then the sixth. And you know there's a lot of resistance to action for this thought. But you don't dwell on that. Rather, you just think about the first action. Because similar to the thoughts in a thought chain, every single action is also a part of a bigger action chain. Other ways of reducing this resistance could include preparing yourself mentally, breaking the thought chains which are unproductive and adding more to your anxiety. But very simply, all you need to do is to take that action. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment what you think.